And first of all, the Quins, they've got Melling at fullback, then Sharp, Clubb, Howell and Bryan, Hill and Danny Orr captains the team. Forwards, Tamata, Randall, Ward, Warrensey, Paul and Mabou. And on the bench, Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook makes his return after injuring a wrist against Leeds earlier in the season. Rinaldi, Haggerty and Janowski. And the coach is Brian McDermott. Now the champions, Webb at fullback, Smith comes back into the team, Ablett moves into the centres, Senior and Donald complete the three quarters, it's Maguire and Burrow at half-back. The forwards, Luluai, Diskin and Bailey, Peacock, Ellis and Sinfield. And on the bench, Jones Buchanan, Scruton, Tansey and Worrell. And the coach, Brian McLennan. So the Leeds Rhinos at the stoop for the second time in 5 weeks and looking to extend their winning sequence to 10 matches. They came back from 18-0 down to beat Hull last week in the Super League. And in 6 days' time, they will meet St Helens at Headingley. And they aim to enter that game with their 6-point advantage re-established at the top of the table. Harlequins, since taking on the Harlequins name following the London Broncos, they've lost all 17 of their league and cup meetings with the Leeds Rhinos. They've lost their last 2 matches as well, at Hull Kingston Rovers and here against Warrington last week. In fact, they've won just 1 win in their last 6 outings. Never in front against Warrington last week. They were 12-0 down, and Henry Paul will know that, of course. And they came back to level matters at half-time, but in the end they lost 24-40. Ashley Klein is the referee here on a warm and sultry London afternoon. And the conditions, as much as anything, Steve-O, will test both sides.
Certainly will. Leeds will love the dry track, that is for sure, but they'll also have it in the back of their minds that several weeks ago in the Challenge Cup, Harlequins should have won that game. They should have knocked the Rhinos out of the cup competition. It was only a wonderful effort by the prop forward, second row, Jamie Peacock, that really lifted the Rhinos in the last 10 minutes to just pip a very good showing from the Harlequins. So Brian McDermott knows how to play against this Leeds outfit. They get right into the faces of them. They've really got to harass them, but can they do it for the full 80 minutes?
This is Danny Ward for the Harlequins, of course, a Leeds player in his former days. And the kick from Randall turns Leeds right around. In fact, the kick is far too deep, as it turns out.
Not a bad effort, though, by the hooker. He wanted to get right down the field. These are the same tactics, as I mentioned, that they had in that Challenge Cup. They won't be too upset with the fact it went dead in goal. You can see they've got their one line of defence up against that 20-metre tap.
This is Gareth Ellis now. That's a good hit from Carl Temata. Diskin the dummy half, and Sinfield in centre field gets the ball away to Kylie Luluai. Good harassing defence here from the Harlequins. Henry Paul leading the way. Well, I don't know whether you saw, as the Harlequins came onto the field today, they were hand in hand with 13 mascots. And all 13 of those mascots came from Scotland, and they're all coached in mini rugby league by the chairman of the Harlequins, Keith Hogg. And what's more, all the mascots that we saw, they're all sons of the 8 coaches of the North Berwick Rugby Club. 12 are Harlequins fans. There is one odd man out, and he is a fanatical Leeds Rhinos supporter. But Keith Hogg is certainly flying the flag for rugby league and Harlequins in Scotland, where he lives, of course. This is Webb. He gets the ball away to Sinfield. Now it's Burrow, and Burrow saw a little gap and went for it. Will play the ball here to Diskin. Diskin through the arms of Luluai. Luluai manages to keep hold of possession for his teammates there. Might have been picked for a knock-on by referee Ashley Klein, but the referee saying he went backwards, and now it is Leeds who have the penalty because Harlequins were not standing square.
Pretty good defence so far. Brian McDermott, the Quins coach, will be quite happy with the build-up to this, but I must say he would be disappointed giving away the penalties. They know that they can't afford to do that against this Leeds outfit, who, to be fair, they really have been in top form.
Massively proud, though, Brian McDermott, of the fact that 7 of his team here today, 7 of the 17 are Londoners. He won't be very proud about that, though, because there's the first try from Jamie Peacock for the Rhinos. Power, sheer power from Peacock then to plunder the line and pop the ball over. A controversial try here in the cup tie last month, but nothing controversial about this one. And Leeds Rhinos with a very early advantage down here at the Twickenham Stoop.
Very simple on that short side. There was really no one got him on that first line of defence. And when he came to the full-back trying to get into a position, good work though by Matt Diskin. You see Randall there just saying it's your man, but I'm afraid that Danny Orr was off balance, and the sheer upper body strength from this man, Peacock, made it a simple try. Well, we're praising the fact that Quinn's solid defence were getting right into the faces of the opposition, but not on that occasion. You'd have to go back about a minute ago, because the hooker, Chad Randall, there's a conversion. I'm just saying, Eddie, Chad Randall got a really bad knock, and you could see there in defence he was all at sea.
There are several things that you have to get right if you want to compete very well against this Leeds side, as again we see Peacock crashing over with his power. They have set a new standard in the competition this year, and it's no good just stopping them when they carry the ball. You have to stop them offloading the ball. That's the biggest difference between Leeds and every other side I've seen so far this year, Eddie. That in numerous occasions, they will offload the ball 3 times before the tackle is completed. And ultimately, when they offload to a player with a superior speed, be it a Webb, Burrow, Maguire, that's ultimately how they come up with their tries.
Just 2 defeats from 20 for Brian McLennan. They do look like finishing top of the table for only the 2nd time. That was last achieved in 2004 under Tony Smith, when they also went on and took the Super League title in style at Old Trafford. Let's go down to Bill on the sideline. 5 minutes gone, Bill. Any news?
Well, Eddie, if the Quins want some encouragement, they can take it from their reserve grade side, who pulled off a very impressive 42 points to 34 win over the Leeds Rhinos reserves, and that is no mean feat, considering that it was only the 2nd time this season that Leeds have been beaten. So there were big celebrations in the Quins ranks after that. And if the side wants some inspiration, well, they can take it from those reserves. I have to tell you, there's still a bit of chuntering going on over what they thought was a clear knock-on from Kylie Luluai before that try was scored by Leeds.
Yes, I thought there might be. Thanks, Bill. And just discussing the Harlequins' future, although we're very much here concentrating, of course, on the present. And that was a little misunderstanding over there between Ward and the passer of the ball. Brian McDermott is fulsome in his praise of the likes of Phil Jones, his player performance manager here, and his assistant coach Rob Powell. Many of the 7 players who are being brought into the Super League picture here today by the Harlequins, they have been coached superbly, says McDermott, by those 2 men, Phil Jones and Rob Powell.
And that's one of the major reasons, of course, why Brian McDermott has fulfilled an extension. Good play on the outside.
And a great try from Will Sharp. Harlequins respond immediately. Will Sharp got round the outside. His first try. He's back after missing the last 2. Born in Nigeria, this young man, but brought up in Bradford, an ex-Queensbury amateur. And Will Sharp, one of the juniors that Brian McDermott takes great pride in. And they're on the board, courtesy of him.
Nothing better than scoring your first try when they actually need it. They got caught out there. That was beautiful hands. Very quick, went on the short side. You can see they pushed out. It was a wonderful finish by Will Sharp. He'll remember that one. And it could not have come at a better time. The point I was making is that Brian McDermott has signed a new 3-year contract starting next season, of course. And it's an indication that he has the faith and the trust in this club to bring even more young kids through the ranks here at Harlequins. It's what they wanted to do, and they're certainly on track of that. This is a vital conversion.
And Henry Paul makes no mistake, it's 6 apiece.
There aren't many weaknesses in this Leeds defensive line. But for a couple of years now, teams have attacked one man in from the right winger, be it the right centre or the right-sided half-back. And again, it's a wonderful pass by Scott Hill. Drifts on the outside of Maguire, and that's a brilliant try. Great rugby league try. Winger staying back onside, waiting for the opportunity, and then bringing their own to make the kick a little easier.
Will Sharp, the try scorer, and of course Brian McDermott will know all about Leeds Rhinos. He was the assistant while Tony Smith was at Headingley. Brian McDermott was Tony's assistant at Leeds. So this is a big day for the Harlequins coach. Tony Ray is with us, of course, here today, and he knows all about this Harlequins setup, all about the Harlequins youngsters, and it's flourishing, Tony, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. There's you mentioned a couple of the key leaders inside of the youth structure here, and there's a mountain of staff underneath him, people underneath him doing the good work to make sure that this happens. And you look at this game today, they're really entitled to get lapped out here today, Harlequins, with the quality of the opposition and the quality of Harlequins, and that wouldn't be surprising. In some ways, not a disgrace. They're up against a Leeds side that are really on their game and have started off right on their game. But you talk about culture, they're a tough bunch, Harlequins, and just the response from that first try to see that second try coming from Harlequins just shows what they're all about, from youth right through to the senior players.
Indeed so, and they begin this set of 6 on halfway. And Joe Mabou plays the ball. Here now is Henry Paul. Gets to his feet, plays the ball, and Danny Orr gets it away to Scott Hill. Scott Hill then goes wide to Howell, and here is Will Sharp again, but Ablett was making sure he was not going anywhere other than into touch. I say the touch judge was very quick with the flag.
Well, there must have been a stray boot. No way. It is there. Got it. Spot on. Just shifted over. Good work by the touch judge.
Half a toe, but he saw it.
It's sufficient. But again, down this left-hand side, Quinn's just catching Leeds out, just hesitating in defence.
Harlequins only win in the last 6 against Hull here on May the 18th. It took a big comeback that day, and what's more, it cost Peter Sharp his job.
It's interesting, that error there, pushing the pass and going out to Will Sharp on the extremities. You've got a real debate as a team when you're playing against a quality side like Leeds. Do you push it? Do you go for that play? Or are you better off playing that little bit conservative, building pressure? The answer's an intangible one. Who knows? Just depends how the game goes, and you've got to make those decisions. You've got to do it together. That's probably the big key.
This is Danny Maguire. He's trying to get away from Scott Hill. He gets the ball away from Scott Hill anyway, finds Sinfield. A bit of afters there between the two number 6s on the deck. Here is Keith Senior. That's great defence. Rigorous and vigorous defence. Henry Paul and Joe Mabou. This now is Ryan Bailey. Well, that has certainly lifted them, hasn't it, that try for Harlequins. Last tackle here, Leeds aren't up to halfway. Maguire was shaping to get the kick in. That's Ellis. He boots it downfield.
Not the best. He was put under a lot of pressure there. Bit of a problem with a boot for Scott Hill. He's slow to get back into the line.
I agree with you, Eddie, that there was a much better set. Now, there was one telling thing. I was sitting up in the first set defensively for Harlequins thinking the danger when you play at Leeds is you sit back and watch them. Because they're so good, you've got such a reputation, you see them so often, you actually watch the game unfold. In that set, Warranty in particular, but a couple of others got up in the line and put pressure on Leeds. So instead of being intimidated by the quality of the opposition, they got out and played against them, and that's a far better way to approach a game like this.
And they'll be buoyed by the fact is that they did this exactly the same way in that Challenge Cup game.
Randall with a little half break. Peacock was on his back and had to bring him down, and did desperately. Warranty the dummy half. Orr will stab the ball over the top into the arms eventually on the bounce of Scott Donald. And Donald, well, here he goes, and he scored a wonder try last week. Won't score one this time. That was a good tackle from Danny Orr.
It had to be as well. There was no one at home. Chris Mellon had come up into the attacking line.
Good hands. This is Senior. Nowhere to go though. Good tracking defence.
Nowhere to go. It's a great work, wasn't it, by Danny Orr? You've got to make sure also with the way that Senior's playing, you can't go up a body. He's so strong. You've got to go down on the legs.
Diskin at dummy half finds Rob Burrow. He flicks it then to Kylie Luluai. That's the fourth tackle. This set of 6 for Leeds. Diskin will come this way to Maguire. He finds Sinfield. Back to Maguire. On the bounce he finds Lee Smith. And Lee Smith gets away from the first tackle of Will Sharp, and away from the second, and away from the third, and gives it to Maguire. And Maguire gives it to Diskin, and Diskin out the back door gives it to Tamata.
Well, he was having a rest, wasn't he, Tamata, the big prop forward? And it just came there. Crowd don't like it, but the tackle wasn't complete. He was still moving there, Carl Tamata. But wonderful effort, wasn't it? Keeping that ball alive by Lee Smith.
Last home win over Leeds, 27th of April 1997, 40 points to 16. London Broncos they were then. They finished second top in the Super League table, but there's a mistake from Danny Ward.
Yeah, he took his eyes off the football. He wanted to see what was coming towards him. It was good work by Chad Randall. He's had a pretty good season as well as the hooker. He leads him around the park from the dummy half position very well indeed.
Webb showed it to Senior, took the job himself forward. Forward pass to Donald. The referee was perfectly placed to make that decision.
Certainly was Ashley Klein in the perfect position for it. But it just shows you the quality, isn't it? Beautiful play by the fullback, Brent Webb. Lamont Bryan did well. Got sucked in right at the very last moment. Little doubt. He was going forward.
If ever Leeds are in trouble, and they were last week 18 points down against Hull, they will go to that left-hand side of the field. It was Keith Senior who came up with a big play to get them out of trouble and get the ship off to sea last week in the game, which they eventually went on to win quite comfortably. But the left-hand side with Donald Senior and Webb, when he chooses to go that side of the field, well, they're almost unstoppable.
Henry Paul pops the ball up for Warrensey, and he is tackled by three Leeds defenders. Randall at dummy half again, finds Danny Ward. That was a big collision between Ward and Bailey. He got the ball away to Warrensey, on via Paul to Orr, and Randall then to Melling.
Oh, he said he went backwards. Well, to me it looked as though Danny Orr had made a certain knock-on. Howell has got a chance here.
And well, everybody had stopped, hadn't they? Harlequins had given themselves up, and Leeds were waiting for the whistle. This is Hill again, down the line, looking for Will Sharp. Webb collects it, but Sharp, following up, gets a good tackle in on the New Zealand international.
Classic play by the standoff Scott Hill. Knew there was nothing going in, chance to get a pass out to his wingers, so he pushed it through. And he was alert, wasn't he, Sharp? Well, the confidence is building. But wonderful work by the former Australian standoff, Scott Hill.
The real challenge for Scott Hill is he comes up with the good plays. He set up the first try, is not to overplay. I think that's when he goes off his game and just goes looking for too much. He's got to be calm and let Danny Orr look after a good percentage of the plays as the game goes through.
Two debutants in the Quins lineup today. Lamont Bryan, number 25 on the wing, 19, formerly with the South London Storm. And on the bench, number 28, Adam Janowski, also ex-South London Storm. Meanwhile, this is one of the experienced hands, Randall, who finds Danny Orr. And Danny Orr tried to come back inside on Kylie Luluai. He plays the ball to Randall. And this is a try for Scott Hill! Harlequins hit the front against the champions. Leeds caught napping a bit there, and Scott Hill, only 10 appearances so far this season. He's yet to play more than 3 games in a row, which has been a major frustration for him and for his coach. But that was a great try from Harlequins, and Scott Hill, the man who has played 12 times for Australia and in State of Origin 5 times for New South Wales, has come up with the second Harlequins try and edges them into the lead.
The one advantage that you get when I'm a standoff that is really a man that's looking to offload. And the defence often will just stand back. What is he going to do? I tell you what he's going to do. He's going to go straight for the line. Scott Hill, what is he going to do? They hang back. He should have diving right underneath. He picks Diskin out and Senior. Soon as he'd taken the first step, he was diving down. Quick thinking.
And Henry Paul doesn't miss those. Harlequins 12, Leeds Rhinos 6.
Do you think, Tony, sometimes the worst thing that can possibly happen to a strong favourite in rugby league is to score inside the first 5 minutes?
It is a big factor because you then tend to want it easy because it come easy to you, and you just think, I might come a bit soft here, and you just might take the foot off the accelerator. And I'm not saying that's happened to Leeds. Actually, I think they've been pushing pretty hard, and their support runs have been good, so they haven't been lulled into that. On the flip side, Harlequins really had to deal with a lot down in that half there, with a lot of half breaks there, and to come back and respond so immaculately was outstanding work for them. It is early days.
Quins leading 12 points to 6 and in possession here, and well, if Leeds needed a wake-up call, they've just had it. It's similar in many ways to last night when Bradford pinned their team sheet up on their door. St Helens must have looked at it and thought they were in for an easy night at the office, and certainly Bradford shook them to the foundations for half an hour. I just wonder whether Leeds are a little complacent, as Tony Ray has perhaps indicated there, that they scored early. I think it might be an easy day.
I think it's also the case of that they will think, hang on, Harlequins did this to us in the Challenge Cup game, so it's not territory that they have not dipped their foot in the water before, because they have. And at 12-6, and fully deserved. And you've got to point at that man, standoff, Scott Hill. Remember, kicking to the corner, got the drop out from underneath the sticks, gave them position. Oh, silly play.
The referee shouted held, and a couple of the Harlequins players were anxious to carry the argument on here with Lee Smith.
Well, Warrensey had him round the waist and then went for the leg afterwards. He won't be too impressed, Brian McDermott. There's every right to feel that way.
But that's 25, 20, 30 metres maybe of cheap ground for Leeds.
Well, we saw it last night, didn't we? That Bradford became their own worst enemy, giving away far too many penalties. You can't do that against a class side like Saints. And it's also the same here.
Richard Sinfield defines Maguire. Maguire still trying to get away, but he's wrestled to the ground by Tamata and Warrensey. Rob Burrow now gets the pass away to Webb, and Webb, under all sorts of pressure, did remarkably well then to hang on to the ball. Disc into Bailey, it goes infield to Sinfield, and a pass that went behind all the players, and Peacock retains possession for his team. Burrow, Maguire, dabs it over the top on an angle, looking for Brent Webb, picked up though by Chris Melling. Tremendous run from Melling.
Boy, what control with the fingertips there. It was a nice little kick as well from Burrow, kicking towards the sticks, nearly got there, but good positioning by Melling, he's had a pretty good season as well.
Some injury news from Bill.
A big moment for Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, who's just jogging out onto the field now. His return for the Quins. A big cheer from the Quins supporters because he is very much a local hero. He's just taken the field in place of Carl Tamata, and it was against the Leeds Rhinos on early in March, I think, that he broke his wrist, and he is out there, left wrist very heavily strapped. And there's his first hit up with the ball. And when he was injured, just at the time he was getting injured, there was even talk of him making the England squad, such was his form. Quins hoping he can recapture that form for them.
What a big hit on Haggerty. Fair play to him, he's put himself into the line, and that has gone into touch.
Went forward anyway. There's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, back in action.
It's amazing, some of these players. In control here, look at that, fingertip all the way through. Just can just pull the hand away, he knew it was high.
McCarthy-Scarsbrook, Eddie, is one of the few players who can come onto a field and have the same impact that Moy Farsablu has for St Helens. He has that power, that raw aggression, and the enthusiasm of a player at this stage in his career that he could actually get his side over the line here in this set.
Referee has given Harlequins the head and feet here for a knock-on against Leeds in the build-up to what looked like a forward pass. Henry Paul over the top and finds Tony Clubb. Tony Clubb is going nowhere. Rob Burrow around his knees, and Keith Senior over the top. It's Paul again. Here's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook.
This is where they're very dangerous, the Quins. Scott Hill, Danny Orr, they all have the ability to either create or even step and go on their own.
And, well, that wasn't the best. And Maguire has got the ball back.
Good job that all just got to him in time as well. Again, no full back in attendance. Nice pick up by Danny Maguire.
Abler plays the ball. Good defence, though, on show from Harlequins.
Stay in the flight, wait, go.
Haggerty, a towering figure over the top of Brent Webb. Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
I must say, Haggerty has done well to get back into this game. It was an unbelievable hit.
A kick downtown from Burrow, who is in hope rather than anything else. A little puff of the cheeks then from Chris Melling.
Well, he took
Thought
it
he'd lost it.
very lazily, didn't he? Said, well, I've got it. No, I haven't.
And David Howell now for Harlequins. A man who's been ever present this year and a top quality acquisition for Brian McDermott.
The one thing that Leeds defence have failed to do so far in the opening 23 minutes is keep the Quins in their own half. Nearly every set of 6, they've been able to get over the halfway line.
And they're making Leeds do a bit of work in the tackling as well. Good short ball there from Danny Orr. Important tackle from Keith Senior on McCarthy Scarsbrook. And the kick angled from Chad Randall. And again, too deep. That's about the third kick that Randall's put in, and each one has skipped its way over the dead ball line.
Tony, over the years you've been a coach down here with the London side. It was a ploy that you often utilised, wasn't it? Kicking out on purpose.
Well, kicking long, you know, depends on where you want to go. With great returners like Brent Webb and Scott Donald at the back there, you'd be looking to put the ball probably more in the end goal, but if it does go dead, you'll live with that, and you've got them at a set restart, and you still have to get their big forwards. In fact, the whole team has to get back and get onside.
Half break here from Danny Maguire. Rob Burrow's on his shoulder, gives it to Burrow. Has Burrow got the legs? He has. Just skipped away from the would-be tackle of Danny Orr. The referee hasn't given it yet. He wants the video referee Ben Thaler to check if there is an obstruction in the build-up to this would-be try in back play. Maybe that's what he's looking at there.
No, there's nothing there, I'm afraid. There's no contact by any of the Harlequins.
Well, there is at that point, isn't it, where Sinfield probably impedes McCarthy Scarsbrook, I think, from that angle.
Yeah, but
he's made contact with him, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I've seen tries disallowed on this, Steve.
Yeah, well, I think Sinfield has stopped. And I think it's just a case of they tried to utilise Sinfield to say that he was obstructing. But if you stop, it's up to the opposition to get round him. I think this trial will be given.
I don't think the fact that he's stationary will help his case here. I think the judgment will go that he's in a position that impedes the defenders. And if you look over the last few months, Eddie, at the tries that were disallowed, there was a very big one, big decision, Hulky Aaron Saints in the Challenge Cup. These sort of incidents have gone in favour of the defending team.
Well, there's a long way away. If he goes to see if the ball gets down from Burrow, he'll give it. So the more times we see it, the better chance.
I think he's looking now at the first one. Maybe is the video referee looking to check whether it's...
You see, he's stopped and he's turned away. And then I think he just pushes into him. He stands there. Doesn't have to move. It's when you're running that it's got to be an obstruction. I think he'll give this.
Well, they haven't looked at the grounding yet, so one would assume.
I think they're about to. They're rolling it on. So this indicates to me that it could be TRY. And Leeds in a very good position to land the conversion and square it all up.
Here comes the decision. No try. Penalty kick to the defence. Ben Thaler reads it exactly the same way as Phil Clark. Burrow is denied.
Well, he just looks a little confused, I must say. I have the same opinion, but the Quins, we won't be arguing about that. Ben Thaler, the video referee, took his time, didn't panic about it.
Well, the penalty has been given way back downfield on the 14-metre line.
I think
Got the wrong 40-metre line, hasn't he?
Well, it's up the other end, isn't it? Wasn't the obstruction up here?
Yeah,
It's miles away. Well, he's given them the chance for 2 points here. It should be on the 20-metre line in their own half.
Kevin Sinfield is saying, can you explain, please, Mr. Klein? It's...
Just 10 minutes from here, guys.
Oh, no, actually, look at it there. It is actually in
we've
the
all got it
half.
wrong,
We've got
actually.
it wrong, we have.
Yeah.
So it's...
No, apologies to Mr. Klein. He's got it right.
I'll be off to the opticians tomorrow.
Henry Paul has landed the 2 points. But it could have been 12-all. As it is, it's 14-6. And Brian McDermott allows himself a little wry smile.
It's an 8-point decision from the video referee.
Very much so.
And not a bad option to go for the 2 points. Just steady things down a little bit.
Look at this.
A smile. New 3-year deal in his pocket. He has every right to feel very happy. And I must say it, all people concerned with the club down here in the capital city will be very, very happy indeed, because there's been so much speculation and talk that Brian McDermott would eventually go back to Leeds. So maybe that was a wry smile.
Steve, I know that there was, he had options. I do know, we spoke personally about that, and yeah, real fair play to the bloke. He just wants to stay here and do the job that we got him down here in London to do. And when I say we, when I was working with him, and of course not anymore, but I really like that in his character, that he's a completer of the task that he set out to, that his brief was given.
Well, his forwards have been given a task today. They're actually completing that very well, aren't they? I think they're outplaying Leeds. Leeds get out of trouble very often because of the individual pace and brilliance of the players like Burrow and Maguire. But at the moment, they are being outplayed in the middle of the field. And the bounce the ball is going their way.
And there's an offside decision here against Leeds, blown by Ashley Klein. Nick Scruton, the man who made the tackle, but he was obviously knocked back to 10.
They certainly got out of the blocks very quickly indeed and got to Scott Hill. Now the advantage, and Mr. Klein is making the home crowd very happy indeed. But it has been a great performance after Peacock just strolled in for an easy try.
Good ball there was from Orr to Melling, and now he has redressed the balance. He has given a penalty to Leeds for obstruction by the Harlequins.
Well, they said that Henry Paul came in on the angle. If they disallowed the try, then they have to do that. The trouble is, it does confuse both sides. Both teams do have a very good dummy runners running on the angle. It's up to the coaches now perhaps to try to eliminate that from their attacking ploys. Not easy.
Jordan Tansey's on at dummy half. He's found Sinfield, who finds Scruton. Tansey again. They'll come down this right channel with Maguire. Back it comes to Webb. He gets away from Howell's would-be tackle. Can't get away from Hill, though. Great ball also out the back door to Ablett. Maguire. Oh, great pass to Danny Orr.
Well, you could see Rob Burrow was there to accept it, but Mr. Orr got there first. Well, I was just about to say that Brian McLennan, the Leeds coach, has got to get the message out and say, hey, listen, we don't want to score a try on every time we have the football. Sometimes you've got to get back to basics, use a little bit of power in the forwards, get yourself in a position, then you can come up with some attacking ploy. But I just get the impression that the Rhinos want to score on every single play.
But on the bounce found David Howell. There's more trouble for Leeds here. Howell will have the ball forward. He's chasing it himself. Now then, Howell or Webb? Who got the hand to it?
I think it was Howell that just tried to lunge onto the football.
Referee said it's Webb. It's a goal line dropout coming up after all of this.
Kicked it through. It's hard to say from that angle. Well, the home side, we are Quins here, and they're playing well. It was good work. It wasn't the best pass, but it caught the Leeds sliding defence out. Howell was on his way through.
Leeds look like they're playing with just 12 men, don't they? The amount of space that Harlequins get when they move the ball to the left-hand side of the field.
Referees
it's amazing how easy they're getting
sorry,
through.
Phil, the referees asked for some assistance here as to how to restart the game.
Oh, it was Webb. Yep. Definitely Webb that gets a fingertip to it.
Come on,
It's good play by the fullback.
But he's had the word in the ear. There's no need, I don't think, for us to go to the big screen to have a look at that decision. It's going to be a goal line dropout. The referee's first inclination was correct.
This is an important 10 minutes now for the home side. They cannot afford to allow Leeds back into this game. To go into the sheds at half-time, full of confidence, is what Brian McDermott would be wanting.
That's Gareth Haggerty. Rinaldi waits the dummy half. They're full of movement behind the ball, Harlequins. Oh, but Warrensey could not take that pass in. And Scott Hill just holds his hand up and
just had a
says
little
sorry.
bit of a push on.
Bit of a push and shove with Danny Maguire.
A bit of fire in the body, nothing wrong with that. That often helps to the confusion. He likes to play a very short, hard pass to Scott Hill.
The problem on that one was his run. He was running out. He was never a run option himself. He ran out to exactly where the space was, so he dragged the defence over there. I must say, a tired defence. Leeds looked very flat in that too. When Howell put the chip over, Webb chased back with good enthusiasm. I watched him back play. The rest of the Leeds team were really labouring and they were struggling. So when the dropout went out, you thought this is going to be a tough set, and they really bunched defensively. This is going to be a very interesting and important 8 minutes in this game in particular.
Okay.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan, no way through. That's Tony Clubb there, and Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, and Danny Orr. That's wonderful defence from Harlequins.
Certainly is.
Brent Webb can't get away from McCarthy-Scarsbrook.
Well, I think it's about time that Leeds' fourth set of forwards start putting something in, and Ellis is certainly taking it up.
Last one. Tansey with the kick right down the middle of the field. And the chase is laboured, but a knock-on by Chris Melling under no pressure whatsoever.
There wasn't a Leeds player within 20 metres. They had given up the ghost. Oh, that is a shocking error. Brian McDermott will know that last week against Warrington, I came down to see that game. They went in at the break 12-all, and I must say, Eddie, the Quins came up with 5 errors in the first or second occasion they had possession and allowed Warrington to take control of the game. And McDermott knows that they can't afford to do that. They've got to hang on or even add to that 14-6 scoreline.
Chris Melling really gave himself up there, didn't he? I don't know whether there was a brush of the fingertips, but if it was, it was the most slight. But Melling himself, his body language, he gave himself up for the knock-on. Here is Ellis. Gareth Ellis brought down, second tackle, but they are inching closer to the Harlequins line. A line they haven't really threatened apart from Jamie Peacock's try and the no try that was given by the video referee. And now they inch closer still because the referee has given Leeds a penalty for offside, right on the line, as you can see. They're taking it quickly. It's Senior, but he received that ball from the standing start.
Maguire screaming for the ball off Webb. He'll get the first receiver.
There is Webb. Here is Maguire. Now it's with Sinfield. The Harlequins defence is standing up to the task so far. Ellis. Maguire. And to go on his own, Maguire. 3 deal with that particular threat. Tansey. Flat pass, Luluai. No way through again. Still trying though, isn't he? Tansey waits once more. Back it comes to Burrow this time. Burrow out wide. Scott Donald will score for Leeds. Scott Donald is in hot pursuit of Adi Gardner at the top of the try-scoring charts. That's 16 now for him. Gardner, I think, 18. He didn't score last night, so the gap is closing.
Wonderful skills from Rob Burrow. What an amazing pass. Cuts out two players on the run. Bang, straight out wide. Catches the winger out. Donald knew exactly what was going to happen there. Lamont Bryan just a little bit inexperienced. He won't mind Scott Donald. It's the 4 point that they needed.
Yeah, he was 3 behind Adi Gardner coming into the weekend. Gardner didn't score last night for St Helens against Bradford, so that's 2 now. He got a couple of tries last week, did Scott Donald against Hull, and one of the true great Headingley tries, according to independent observers, and observers with a slightly more biased view as well. It was a wonderful weaving, mazy run from Donald. This is Kevin Sinfield then, and that's the view he has of the post here at the Twickenham Stoop. Can he close the gap still further? Yes, he can. Kevin Sinfield, the Leeds captain. 50 consecutive weekly rounds, 51 consecutive weekly rounds that he has scored now. It's a new Super League record.
There you see the experienced Lamont Bryan, the winger, just caught right in the middle. It was an easy finish, but it was a wonderful pass from Rob Burrow.
I think that just made Lamont Bryan a part of the Leeds half-time discussion. Went there for the first time and caught him out, and I'm sure they'll be clocking that one, and they'll be going back there in the second half a lot more regularly now.
I suppose Tony Harlequins will be a little bit disappointed that having played so well and dominated the champions for long periods, that they're only 2 points to the good at this stage.
Only themselves to blame is the only thing. Like, I think they should have been happy with that position, but the Mellings error was just unforgivable, and that just opened the whole game up for Leeds and exposed people like Lamont Bryan, who's on debut, to the sort of plays that Burrow can come at them. So that's the disappointing thing. And it had been coming for Melling, was the funny thing. All these other catches have been a bit wobbly, so he should have been a little bit wiser from the experiences he had in the game.
The kick from Kevin Sinfield is straight down the throat of Will Sharp. Good run from the winger, but halted now by 4. Maguire, one of them. He gets himself back into the defensive line as Melling puts the pass out wide.
Stand up, all the way, Carly. You got it, Carly. Wait. Stand in the square. Wait.
Lamont Bryan going back out to the wing as Ronaldi takes the ball forward here for Harlequins. That's the 4th tackle.
Stand up, stand up.
Julian Ronaldi trying to con the referee there, looking for a penalty, lying all over the top of Carl Ablett. Scott Hill, right-footed, into the arms safely of Brent Webb.
Under a lot of pressure there, but not the best kick from Scott Hill. And it's important now, can they do what Leeds have just done against the Harlequins, who failed to get over the halfway line? Though with defence like that, it's pretty good. Good work by Henry Paul, leading by example.
Webb goes down on the 3rd tackle, unhappy with the treatment he was receiving then. And a little bit of a swing at one of the Harlequins defenders. It was Tony Clubb who has just missed that tackle on Jordan Tansey. But that's the last.
Now will we see a chip over the top, something a little bit different. Mellin is deep.
Well, Maguire shaped to kick long, and that was a forward pass, and they got themselves in an almighty pickle then.
Well, it was perhaps the time to start doing something a little bit different. I mentioned the fact that Chris Mellin was way downfield. There was no one at home. A little chip over the top would have been a better option.
Wait, Carly.
It's important now, the Quins, just to close this game down, make sure they get through the set of 6, maybe a kick into the in goal to get the extra set.
They might be looking for a little bit more than that, Steve-O, this last set for them before half-time unless they do something like that and get the extra set of 6. And looking for a 6-pointer.
Agree with you big time, Eddie. I think that's the play that they should be after. With a minute to go, a tired lead defence. Chad Randall back on the field, so they get a lot more strike. Look for Randall and Hill in this set to dominate.
This is Rinaldi. Has a little scamper away, finds Randall. The ball was up around Randall's forehead. He did well to hang on to that. There's Rinaldi again. Now it's with Danny Orr. Danny Orr dabs the ball in behind the defence, and Lee Smith's quite content to let the ball go and dab it over the dead ball line. They will get another set of 6, but they probably won't get the full set because we're only 40 seconds or so away from half-time. Referee calls time off.
Brian McDermott will not be worried about that because he knows that they will have control. Okay, it's only a slender lead of 2 points, but psychologically it'll be a big lift for the home side in the dressing room.
Not the longest and furthest goal line dropout either. Here comes Karl Tamata inside the last 30 seconds, and can Harlequins capitalise on this second set? Danny Orr flicks the ball to Henry Paul. Nick Scruton was all over the back of him, helped out by Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Orr again, little kick into the air. Tester here for Lee Smith, who claims it easily. And I think Leeds will be happy to turn round with a 2-point deficit, and Brian McLennan's got some work to do. Well, Warren Seed has dropped on the player. The referee had called, the tackle is held. They're taking a quick tap, and Lee Smith.
He's happy. We'll go for the lemons and oranges.
That's half-time.